Hello and welcome back to a New Pace podcast. So it's me, Leslie Andrew, your podcast host, and once again we've got a solo episode, just me chatting to you about all things art therapy and stepping into a new pace and what that might mean in different ways. So if you have noticed, if you've been listening along and you're up to date and you have listened to everything, I really appreciate you being part of my world and offering that support, and I really appreciate that there must be something of value if you're wanting to listen. But you probably would have noticed, you may have noticed, that there wasn't an episode last week. So we've been doing weekly episodes since last June, and last week it just didn't happen. And part of me feels somewhat disappointed in myself, slightly beating myself up about having not been organised, not been planned sufficiently to have an episode, either have enough recordings and enough guests recorded in advance to be able to keep the schedule and keep that momentum going. But also, what I was realising is that as I was kind of thinking about things, I couldn't think what to say. I felt lost for words. I felt a bit stuck and a bit stumped, and I wasn't sure what to talk about and what content to share about. And this is partly because there's two things that sort of go on in my world, in the way that I work with people. One is the whole concept that uncovers that this podcast is about a new pace, stepping into a new pace. With those elements, pause, act, create, empower. The whole idea of being able to navigate through life, through challenges, maybe do things differently. Build like different habits and take time to pause. So there's that, like, take time to pause, allow yourself to notice those small actions and create and empower and step into like a new version of you and allow yourself to go at your own pace. So in some ways, embracing the fact that taking time to pause and having a little bit of a pause mirrors the actual theme. It's in the interest of the new pace ethos of it's okay to pause, it's okay to have a little break, it's okay to not be perfect, it's okay to not have things all perfectly polished and amazing, and actually that's what I was thinking about in terms of then creating more content and creating a reaction video, a reflection video about the fact that I didn't do an episode last week, and the fact that I felt lost for words, that I wasn't sure what to talk about. So there's this kind of thing about what feels important about that is bouncing back to those two different concepts, two different ideas, a new pace idea and art therapy and creativity, and they integrate, they're all combined. And the fact that art and art therapy is beneficial when words are not enough, when you can't find the right words, when maybe your thoughts and feelings are tangled, or when your emotions are too big and things are too raw, or things just feel really complex, so you just can't find the right words. So sometimes making an image holds that space and holds and captures and communicates something that words cannot. So there's a real sense of that. But I don't think it was to do with maybe feeling overwhelmed by something and not having the words to describe how I was feeling. what it was, I think, was more about feeling a little bit of an imposter syndrome, feeling a bit like, am I doing good enough as a podcast host? Do people want to listen to this? Is it suitable? Should I be riffing and going with the flow? Or do I need to be structuring the podcast more, having more of a plan? And this sort of second guessing is so common for people, and at all ages, people have this kind of sometimes self-doubt, anxiety, questioning themselves, and I've noticed it more as I've got older, as I've got into midlife, and as changes of career as well. Becoming fully self-employed makes me question things a little bit as well, and thinking I can choose how to show up in my business, and I can choose how to present myself, whether to be authentic to myself, like what being authentic feels like and looks like, or whether to show up and show some of my expertise and some of my experiences and some of that credibility, and then I feel a bit weird doing that. So, and I think this is where having a conversation with, I've had some wonderful guests on the podcast, having a conversation with other artists and different coaches and so many people that have been on the podcast, having that natural conversation feels in a way easier to just talk with somebody than it is me presenting and talking about a theme when I haven't necessarily planned it. So this is the thing that's like the idea of getting that balance between being spontaneous and authentic and genuine, and just talking about what it was like to miss an episode, and what it's like to think, well, I'm not really sure what to say, I'm not sure what people want to hear, I'm not sure what topics are useful or not useful. And then that being a thing of going, okay, well, just because I missed one episode, 1 week since last June is not bad. That doesn't mean that I would stop, or we're going to carry on. We're continuing. We've got a mission to do at least 100 episodes, as I said, like last spring. And so, a bit like if you've got a habit, you've got maybe a routine of going to the gym, and you miss a week, or you miss a few weeks, you can still get back into it and still get back in and do it. Or if you've got a flat tyre in your car, I don't know about you, but I don't go around slashing all 4 tyres. If it goes wrong, I try and amend and fix that tyre or get a new tyre. I wouldn't go around and slash all 4 tyres. But sometimes life can feel like that. It can feel like if something's happened, something's gone wrong, or something challenging has hit us, affected us, sometimes it can feel like everything happens at once. But being able to reframe and see things from a different perspective can help us to create a bit more certainty in our lives, and a bit more calm, and feel a bit more ready to do things, and feel a bit happier about ourselves. So this is where maybe making an image about how you're feeling can make a difference, compared to purely writing it down or purely talking about how you're feeling, when sometimes it might feel that that's not changing, because making an image can really help by expressing an emotion, or communicating that feeling to somebody else, if you're wanting to show it to somebody else, or simply getting it out of your body, getting it off your chest, getting it out of your head, and creating something. So this idea, we've got a few layers that come up as a result of this episode. Things about feeling lost for words, and feeling that sense of self-doubt of not knowing what to talk about and thinking, I might not have washed my hair or something. That might have been another thing, another excuse. I didn't wash my hair. It's like feeling that then am I just being lazy? That, like, I'm maybe not wanting to show up, or might have already been in my pyjamas, for instance. So that idea of feeling lost for words, not being prepared or planned or having the structure to go and do the recording, and also that idea of not being sure whether it's worthwhile or not. But if you were to act as if it's worth doing, you can apply that. Act as if all of the small things that you're doing is worth doing. And I was listening to a podcast just today or the other day about some of the household chores, the mundane household chores. If you're making them into, romanticising them, making them into a routine that feels really nurturing for yourself. So, and then really enjoying doing it because of how you're going to feel once it's done. So rather than thinking, oh, that feels like a chore having to do that, or doing it at the last minute feels like a lot of effort. Instead, seeing it as a challenge or seeing it as something that might feel more exciting, or we're just going to do it anyway. We can't guarantee that people will find it useful, but we're going to do it anyway. And if you apply that to any of the things in your life, act as if it's worth doing, and at some point we'll get that bounce back and find out, and you'll probably, I'm learning this myself. I'm like giving myself this instruction of act as if it's worth doing. Act as if you are going to trust that the benefits will really come through, and it's going, like, you're really relying on it happening, and we're going to have these things that come in and make it worthwhile, so then you actually get it done, instead of thinking, well, I'm not sure what to do, maybe we won't do it because we've not got a plan, and do it anyway even if it's a bit rubbish, and act as if one person is going to benefit from this, even if it's just me ticking a box to prove to myself that I can do hard things, that I can do tricky things, that I can show up even when I'm not feeling very organised or feeling very, very good about it. So hopefully, all being well, we'll be back along with some cool guests. I've got some lovely people lined up to join me in the next few weeks. And if you would like to come on the podcast, be a guest speaker on the podcast and talk about what you do, or just talk about some different topics that you're interested in, then get in touch and we'll find a time to talk, find a time to record a podcast. But yes, that's all from me. And yeah, this is a new Pace podcast, and I hope that you are well and managed to understand some of that, because I think it was very riffy and entangled and a bit messy. But speak to you soon. Bye bye.